Tonight's cigar, I was asked to buy this by my friend Keith. This is an Alec Bradley, and I smoked that Project 40 just the other day. This is a beautiful looking cigar. This is the Gatekeeper by Alec Bradley and Toro. It's got a nice, rich cocoa. Beautiful wrapper, tight and visible seams. Look at that, that's nice. A little tapered toward the end. I've already clipped it. Now we're going to toast it, and then we're going to start smoking it. So, let's see what happens. And here we go. Easy draw. I did a cold draw on it, and I thought it was going to be a nice, easy, smooth draw. Little bitterness, bitter chocolate. This is a 6x50 stick. Cocoa and coffee through the retrohale. Interesting looking beheaded Caesar there on the band. Gatekeeper to hell, I would assume. See if we get some pepper out of this too. Generous smoke output. Yeah, and there's the pepper. It's a black pepper. Lingers very nicely. Still there. Alright, so what am I drinking tonight? Something I rarely drink, but it was on sale for $7 a six-pack. Straight from Golden, Colorado, brewed with 100% Rocky Mountain water since 1873. Coors Banquet Beer. Crystal clear like most American lagers are. Bland, but wet. That's what I call grass cutting beer. That's what Dixie beer is for me. Nice and spicy through the retrohale. I like that. Okay, so far I am digging the Gatekeeper by Alec Bradley. Nice. Beautiful, razor sharp burn. This cigar I think was like $12. And I told Keith, I said, you know, if I don't like this, I'm going to call you out on it. But usually he doesn't steer me wrong. He knows my flavor profile. And pretty much if he likes them, I like them. Super generous smoke output. All right, we're going to stay with this for a few minutes because I'd like to see how it transitions and how the burn maintains. So we may be here for about 7 or 8 more minutes. Let's have another pull off the beer. Coors. All right, nothing special on the can except Coors Banquet Beer. Sam Elliott's favorite. Okay, that beer has got some sweetness to it. And usually when you get a beer that's got some sweetness to it, it's because it's got corn in it. These beers, these American lager beers, aren't brewed with just straight barley malt. They use brewer's rice, cereal grains like corn, barley, rye. But the corn is what you usually get for the sweetness. When the Europeans came over back in the 1800s, they've tried brewing with barley malt. This is Adolf Coors, Frederick Miller, Colonel Pabst, all of them. But the barley over here is like 2-row, and the barley over in Europe was like 4-row or 6-row, so it was an entirely different brewing experience. The beers were cloudy, they weren't clear. So they added some adjuncts to it to make it a clearer beer, which is what the Europeans were used to doing. That's not to say that the beers didn't have flavor, because before the Prohibition, you had beers with lots of color. The light lagers were brought on by the Germans. Okay, back to the cigar. That is a really good smoke output. Still, nice, long, lingering finish. Not what I would call full flavored, but it does have a long finish. A little bitter chocolate, baker's chocolate. Perfect burn. I'm shocked. For an Alec Bradley cigar, I got to find out who makes his cigars. Because a lot of times, AJ makes everybody's cigars. And I'm not sure who makes the Alec Bradleys. They're named after his son, Alec and Bradley. Okay, less spice on that retrohale. More coffee, more espresso. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. And of course, looking at that face, that's like my old lady looking at me. Oh! Hope she doesn't watch this video. All right, that is a very smooth beer, but it is kind of sweet. You know, Budweiser is not a sweet beer, and I don't drink Budweiser much. I do like their nitro. But a regular Budweiser, if you've ever heard of the Beechwood aging, what they do is they take these planks, and they put the planks in the bottom of the fermenter, and then they put in the beer and wait for it to age. And that's it. That's how they Beechwood age it. The other thing is, Natty Light and Bud Light are the exact same beer, except Bud Light is aged longer. Back to the cigar. I learned all this beer trivia from my wife. She brews. Buddy, buddy, buddy boy. Dog's out in the yard. Well, actually, he's in the street. It's a good-looking cigar, really nicely made. Once again, that razor-sharp burn, stack of dimes going on. I'm pleasantly shocked. Most of the time, I've had bad luck with Alec Bradley's. I tried their Max one time. That thing was as big as John Holmes' cock, you know. It's just huge. And it wasn't enjoyable to smoke. It had burn issues. And then I tried something else. Texas Light. They're just big cigars, and I'm not really into them. That's a perfect size. Toro or a Churchill. Perfect. For me, anyway. I really like the cigar on the retro ale. Beautifully made. I don't know if I should call that a Maduro. I mean, I've seen Maduros as dark as that, and I've seen naturals just, you know, aged a little bit longer and fermented a little bit longer that are the same color as that. But it is imparting some really good flavors on the cigar. Really surprised. Okay, but you know, here's what I'll tell you. You spend $12 or $13 on a cigar, it had better smoke good. You know, that's why I like Padermo's and AJ so much. Because regardless, and Robert Holt, Southern Draw, regardless of the cigar, they're made right. They smoke right. Even if you don't like the flavor of that cigar, it will burn correctly and it will smoke generously. Okay, that being said, Gatekeeper. All right, we're at the 10-minute mark, and we're barely a third in, but we're not even a quarter in. So this is smoking nicely, perfectly. Look at that stack of dimes. I always say that. That's how I judge a cigar. I want to see a stack of dimes. That tells me that the tobacco's been aged and fermented a good, long amount of time. Okay, so if anything else changes on this cigar, I'll let you know. We're almost 11 minutes in. On a scale of 1 to 5, that's definite 4. Definite 4. If it had more flavor, more depth, I would give it a 5. But it's much better than average, I'll tell you that. That's a solid 4. Okay, if you've had this cigar, the Gatekeeper by Alec Bradley, let me know. So once I finish this cigar, I'll keep reading. I am reading the classics. Ernest Hemingway, For Whom the Bell Tolls. A little dated on the dialogue, but you know it was written in 1940. It's a really enjoyable cigar. All right, we'll just keep going for now. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did bring 2 beers out. And I do it just like in Germany. I pour them straight down the glass. You know, the head beats up, and I just wait for the head to dissipate, and then I add some more, and that way you don't sit there and belch all night long. Just keep filling it up as the head goes down, and you will have a perfectly poured beer if you just wait for it, because then all the carbonation is knocked out of it. You still get carbonation in the beer, but you don't get it in your stomach from the gas. All right, that's a pretty good pour there. In Germany, all the glasses are marked where the beer has to be. So what you'll find is, if it's, usually they're like 0.33 liter. But the beers in Europe hold their head, unlike the American beers. It's called lacing. And every time you drink, it'll leave a line. So the next one that I have will leave a line. Well, that's not doing it too well. But in Germany, it does. All right, back to the cigar. Absolutely flawless burn. Flawless. Spilled some on me. I hate that angle. It makes me look fat. I'm not fat, guys. I'm 185 pounds. That ash is still holding on just perfectly. That is a definite stack of dimes. All right, we're now at the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to go ahead and call this. Once again, if you've had this cigar, tell me what you think. If you haven't tried it, go ahead, give it a try. See if my word's good. All right, go ahead. Good night. I'm going to go ahead and read my book. Oh, well.